Alright, Crewton Ramone's We are going to do some fractions fast and easy using the concept of 1. If it's no fun, get back to 1. So, let's see here. Let's say I had 3x, this is the one, is the same thing, oops, as when my camera angle is and so on, it's not coming out. Anyway, 3x equals 9. Well, that's easy, right? A lot of kids don't even do the division problem here, they just know that 3 times 3 is 9. But let's look at this. Let's analyze a little more. Here, I'm saying I have 3x. And here, it's the same thing as 9. Now we can take a look at this in a couple ways, explain it to the children in ways that they understand. Here, I see there's a 1-to-1 correspondence, isn't there? There's 1 to 1, 1 to 1, 1 to 1. So each one of these x must be 3. Put an equal sign in here. Okay, so let's see, if I look at this a little bit more, and I say what I have is a rectangle equal to a rectangle. And on this rectangle, I know this side is 3, but I don't know what that side is. Actually, I'm going to put that on the other side. X here. Well, I'm making a mess. X. There we go. Okay. But I do know that this whole thing is 9, but I don't know the sides. I just know the whole thing inside. Alright, so I don't know what that side is, but I know that side's 3. Okay, so now I have a division problem, don't I? I have 9 divided by 3. This side must be 3 for it to be 9. That side's 3 and the whole thing's 9. That side's got to be 3. We like math like that. Okay, so now I can put that in and we need to do it, right? And I know x is 3, and I can even change that x to be a 3. Some kids will do that. But I know that the x is the same thing as 3. The side that I didn't know was 3. And the way I did that is actually to do division. Okay, well here's another way to look at it. And it's always this. It's always 5 concepts. All we do is count. Rectangles. No fun, get back to 1, 0, 0. And today we're not even going to get into hero 0. We're just going to use a lot of understanding about 1. What 1 is, knowing what 1 is. And look at the fractions videos and you can see a little bit about 1. Well, what if I have another way of looking at this? When I put 3, I'm going to expand this. Lots of room to put my x in there. Okay, that's the same thing as 9. Well, what do I know for sure times 9 is always be 9? 1, right? Okay, so let's not worry about this part here. Let's think about this. If I had 3, what do I have to multiply 3 by to get 1? Let's get rid of this over here, and you'll see this in a couple of the fractions videos. Let's just say that I'm going to use my imagination now, and that's 1. Instead of it being this as 1, this is 1. Okay? I can call this whatever I want. But it's now I'm calling it 1. So in order to get this to be this, what would I have to do? Right? What do I have to multiply this by to get this to be 1? Well, I'd have to multiply. I'd have to take a third and a third and a third off of each one of those. Let's get a bigger one here for a second. Okay, because I just blew this up, and now I can see if each one of these, right, and I have 3 of them in there. These are thirds. If I took a third and another third and another third and I put them together, I'd get 1. Right? If I took a third of that, and a third off of that, and a third off of that. In other words, if I multiplied this by 1/3, I get 1. Right? I could put them together, and there it is. Okay, so I multiply. Why am I multiplying by a third, by the way? So that when I multiply this times this, I get 1. So that's the same thing as 1. Now, what do I have to multiply this by to get 9 in here? 9. 1 times 9 is 9. Right? Easy. You'll see why in a second here. Alright, so that I have 9 over 3, and that's 9 over 3 is the same thing as 3. Well, it's like a very complicated way of arriving at x is 3. But you'll see in a second here that that's going to make life really, really, really easy. Watch. So now I have 3 times what is the same as 4. That's supposed to be a 3. No, it's... If you saw the angle that I was writing at and the way the camera is set up, you'd actually chuckling to yourself. Anyway, there it is, 3/4. So what do I have to multiply by? Okay, so let's just do it again. I'm going to take 3. I'm going to put this huge in here. What do I have to multiply 3 by to get 1? Well, just 1/3. But what do I have to multiply 3/4 by to get 3/4? 1, right? Okay, so there's a 1. So if I want to get, I have 1 now here. 1 times what is 3/4? Well, 3/4. That's pretty simple, isn't it? That's multiplication going on in here. Okay, so now I can see that 3 times 3 over 12 is the same thing as 3/4. Oh gosh. You see that? Right, so now, if I know about 1, seeing it's just a slight difference of doing the division, okay, right? But just think about it. Just use my logic, because I know something about multiplication. Look, I changed, oh, I did. Right? Do that. Right? So multiply 3, just get 1, and then all of a sudden, all of these problems are easy. Super easy. Okay, so now I have 3 times what is 5/8? Well, that's easy. Let's get 1 first, right? Let's not worry about what I have to multiply. Let's just figure out 1. Well, there's 1. Okay, and here's 1. Well, those are, my notation is 4. Perhaps I can do better than that. 3. That's a little better, but not by much. And now, I want to say 5/8. Well, let's get this out here, actually. Move it over. What am I going to put in here to equal 5/8? Well, 1 times 5/8. And I have, okay, that's what I wanted in the first place, was 5/8. Okay, so now I gotta do the multiplication over here. And multiplication, when I multiply fractions, it's super easy. So I just have 3 times 5, 24. Right? Super easy. Straight across multiplication, right? 5 24ths. Put it in there. Ooh, okay. And that's going to be the same thing as 5/8. How easy? Can you do any of these now? You do any of these. That's supposed to say 24 over here. 24. There you go. Okay. Let's try another one. Alright, so 3 times what is 1 5/7? Whoa, looks like no fun, right? Kids don't like these kind of problems. Well, let's see here. So here's the first thing I did, is I took 3x, so I'm going to take this x and expand it, because it's going to go in that one already, right? See, you guys catch on quick. You already know that this is going to be 1/3. Why? Because I want 1 there. I just want 1, right? Because now I just got to multiply. Now this one, oh, I got to convert it. So I'm going to change that around, and I'm going to, there's a whole video on this, but 7 times 1 is 7 plus 5, right? That's process. Right? What are we doing there? What we're trying to do is figure out how many sevenths I have. So I have a full 7 there, right? 7 sevenths, right? Plus 5 more sevenths, which gives me what? What's 7 and 5? 12 sevenths, right? Okay, and the way you do that, you'll see I have videos that show you how to convert, because that one tells you how many sevenths you have. Alright, it tells you what you're counting by. This tells you what you're counting by, that one tells you how many, and then it tells me the parts, and I add them all together, I get my 12 sevenths. Okay, so now I'm just going to multiply by 12 sevenths, because it's 1, right? So now I get 3 is the same thing, 3 times 12 21st is the same, look at those numbers, ooh, that's fun, is the same thing as 12 sevenths, and I know that 12 sevenths is the same thing, 1 5/7. So if I want to, I could go the next step and do that. Right? How hard is this stuff? You are correct. It's not hard at all once you know what you're doing. Right? So now, problem solving with fractions, no big deal. No big deal at all. It's easy. Fun. Simple. Okay, so let's change the number a little bit. Now I'm going to say 5x is the same thing as 7 3/8. Here's a real world problem too. Let's say this distance from here to here is 7 3/8. And I want to put 5 equal parts. I'm doing some touch-up, fine interior detailing with wood. And instead of having 2 pieces there or 1 piece there, I want to put 5 pieces in this line. And I want to know how long each one of these needs to be. Okay, well, you know, obviously inches, because we're in the United States. Well, then I need to know how many equal parts there. 5x equals 7 3/8. So the distance from here to here is 7 3/8. And what do? Well, I'm not going to worry about it much, because all I'm going to do is make a 1. Right? Because it's no fun, get back to 1. So I multiply by 1/5, right? So like 1. And then I'm going to convert this. This tells me I am counting by 8s. This tells me I have 8 8s 7 times. and 3 more. So 8 times 7, 56, right? And 3 more is 59 over 8. And that's going to be the same thing. Oops, let's put some parentheses in there. And that's going to be the same thing, those are little parentheses, as 7 and 3/8. Oh wait, we didn't do the work. So here is 5 times 59 over 40. Right? Oh, look at all this compound work we have to do here. It's definitely not a beginner problem. 7 and 3/8. Now, how many 40s are in there? So this is, each one of these is going to be, each S is going to be, one of those is in there, right? 1 and 19/40ths. Okay, so I'm going to take my inch, bust it 40 parts, and get, okay, and take 19 of them. So each one of these would be 1 and 19/40ths. How hard is that? Not very hard, right? But again, using my 1, doesn't that just make that super easy? Because then I just have to multiply, right? Now you have to know how to convert these guys, these mixed fractions, into improper fractions, and back and forth, right? You see there's a video already about taking improper fractions and turning them into these, and going backwards is simple. Crewton Ramone's houseofmath.com for more. Look at this. Just use the simple concept of 1, knowing what 1 is. Maybe we'll do one more before we wrap this thing up. Right, and that last example was bad because inches are very rarely busted into 40 parts. Usually it's 30 seconds, and that's about as far as it goes. But sometimes you can take it down to the next one, which would be 6/4. Anyway, what if I had, the other way, if I had 7 times what is the same thing as 3/8? And see, some students are going to start to understand that this is the same thing as dividing 3/8 into 7 parts. It really is. And they may have learned something about doing like another one, and it's a compound, right? And divide, oh my gosh. Both sides by 7, and that gets hard, and they don't have to do it. Alright, so let's keep it simple, super simple. Make it a 1. That's how I make it 1. Multiply 7 times 1/7, that's 1 right there. Now, what gives me 3/8? Well, 1 times 3/8 is 3/8, right? And let's put that in parentheses just for fun, and let's make that 3 look more like a 3. Okay, there you go. And now I get 3/8. So now all I have to do is multiply this. I'm going to back up here for a second. X is going to be the same thing. This X right here, that's this whole big thing here. I just expanded my X out. Is the same thing as 3/56. That's all it is. How simple is this? We could do these all day now. Right? They're super easy, super fun. Any little kid can do these. Right? You don't have to be, struggling when you're in 6th or 7th grade, or I don't know what it is, 5th grade that they start seeing these, 4th and 5th grade. But 5, 6, 7-year-old kids can do this also, because all they know, make a 1, and then all they have to be able to do is skip count. Okay, Crewton Ramone's houseofmath.com for more.